Okay, well, that was a happy sound. All right, hi everyone. We are excited to join you for this Curriculum Buzz session. I am Jennifer Boyer-Thurgood in Curriculum.
And I'm Christy Wagner in Curriculum.
So we are excited to go through with you some ideas about how are you teaching digitally. That's the name of this particular session. So you got an email from Sherry Hyder on March 27th, and it outlined some awesome things to think about as we transition from probably working with kids online during this soft closure time to now looking at a little bit more of an extended period and thinking about, okay, how are we going to teach kids online? How are we going to move the content along while we aren't with kids in our classroom for the next couple of weeks? So we'll go ahead and look at question 1 on the presentation. Question 1 says, and these are kind of things to think about as you're planning and as you're evaluating your online content and things that you're putting up. So first one says, am I asking students to use high quality resources that are focused on essential skills? So those two terms in there that are probably the most important are high quality and then essential skills. Yeah.
Sure. Essential skills. We are just so grateful that we have narrowed that down to essential skills so that we just have those important things that we're focusing on and not having to worry about a ton of things during this time. So
yeah, let me mention too, down at the bottom of the slide, you can see these came to you in the email that was an invitation for this meeting, but there's also a bit.ly down at the corner where you can pull up this slide presentation, and then all of these become clickable for you, all the resources that we're going to show today. So that's down there in the corner. So let's, I'm going to go ahead and click on high quality resources and look at this. And what does that mean? High quality resources. It means that there is so much stuff coming at you right now in your email, free offers, all thousands of things that you could be trying. We have taken the time to kind of narrow these down. We've done a lot of vetting. We've looked at a lot of programs. There are things that we have adopted as a district as our primary resources. There are also things that we are endorsing as a district as things that we have looked at that are awesome, great to use. These are all things that are long lasting. They're going to be available even after this time when all of the free offers end. So we really encourage you to look at these resources. If you're looking at something beyond these, there's some things that need to be in place. We need to do some vetting of those resources. So you'll need to get with your principal, kind of show them why the resource is important to you, what niche it's filling that these aren't, and we can start that process. But we highly encourage you to just use this list, save yourself the headache of looking through all of those free trials and all of those little pieces of software that probably do one great thing, but we've got these really powerful resources set here.
And be thinking about your student. They're at home and you're throwing something new at them that they've never done before, they haven't tried. So we really want to keep with those things that they're used to, that they already have accounts set up. And so that's not one more thing that they're having to learn on their own at home. So
yeah, so let's just personal experience too. I have 5 kids doing this all at once, which is super exciting. But in the first couple of weeks, we set up lots of logins for lots of different things, and that was probably one of the biggest challenges, is just getting familiar with all the new things. So anyway, let's look at this list. So for math, our district adopted programs are Zern. If you aren't using this in kindergarten through 5th grade, take a look at it. It's amazing. In this session, we're talking about teaching. It does the teaching. It has the lessons, some recorded, ask kids to stop and think about what they're learning. The free version of this is always free, so you can continue to use it even after this time. So that is probably my number 1 recommendation, is use Zern if you're not using it at this point. We've also opened up Imagine Math, which is the partner with all of the great Imagine ELA software. So those are available through Clever. The links on here show you where to access those. Prodigy is another program that's always free. And Extra Math is an awesome one. And of course, Alex, if your school is currently using those licenses, that's a great one to proceed with. If you are not using Alex at this point, it's not possible to set up accounts. IXL and Dreambox are also great ones if you're using those.
Okay, so for ELA, we do have that Imagine Learning, and this is very critical program for our EL students. So hopefully you're assigning some Imagine Learning time with your students. The recommendation is 45 minutes a week. So a couple of 20, 30-minute sessions that you assign would be great. These EL students obviously aren't getting service during this time, and we are required to provide them with language services. And our Imagine Learning is just a great program all around for language development and just for reading skills and reading development. The thing I love about Imagine Learning is it is individualized for that student and where their needs are and where they're at. So this is a great program. With that, we also have our journeys that we use K-5 and our collections for 6th grade and up. The students can use their Google logins that they normally access through the district, but as we move along, I'm going to show you a quick way for you to assign pages within the book that they wouldn't even need to log in. So, and then along with that, Common Lit is a great resource for reading material. We want to integrate science and social studies, and that's a great way to do that with articles there. With those, you would want to download those as PDFs and then attach them or assign them through your Google Classroom. That way the students don't have to have a login for that. So keep that in mind. Download as a PDF as well. And then we have Utah Compose. That's a great writing tool for those in grades 3 through 6. And many of you already use that, so continue to use that if you choose to.
Awesome. There are other programs that are offered by the state that you're probably getting emails about. These are base main learning and teaching programs. Again, there are reasons that we haven't gone through them and we haven't opened those up. So sticking with these is going to be your best bet. Down below, we also have awesome science resources from Maggie Huddleston, who has been a big part of developing all of the resources that we're showing today. So make sure that you check out those. If you're wondering if a certain software or program has been approved by our district for use, these are the ones that have been adopted and are endorsed. So Christy and I know these in and out. We can help you with these. There are some smaller programs, some little things you can be using. If you just Google the term WSD MOA, MOA stands for Memorandum of Agreement. There you can see if any company, any resource has signed an MOA with us, and what that means is that they've agreed to keep our student data private. So anything that's on that list is safe to use. Most everything that's been approved are on our list and on our list of vetted things, but you're free to look through there and if you have a question about something in particular. So lots of other great kind of those smaller programs here that we also think are great that are listed on here that do have MOAs. So, Storyline's a great one. Ed Puzzle's a great one to check out. Again, if you're just getting started into all of this and you're new at digital teaching and learning, if you kind of stick with those base programs, you're probably going to have an easier time. Virtual field trips, all kinds of great things in here again that have been approved, but that can be kind of your optional things or kind of your extra things once those base programs are in place. All right, let's jump back to the questions here. So question 2, have I implemented efficient strategies to ensure learning experiences are limited to reasonable time requirements and reasonable physical resources? Keywords in here, right? Efficient strategies, but also this limited time idea. We've had lots of teachers asking, well, how much time should this be taking students? How much should I be assigning them? How much is too little? How much is not enough? This is the official recommendation at this point that you are assigning between 90 minutes and 2 hours worth of work per day for the student in elementary. So we also need to include in that time to get on the Chromebook, time to log in, time to get started. Learning in a home environment takes more time than in a classroom. I'll just say that. My 5 kids don't move along as fast as my classroom of 30 used to because it's just different.
Well, and think about it. I mean, Jen has 5 kids, and if she didn't have devices for all of them, and they each have 2 hours of homework to do or work online, you know, that's 10 hours of the day. So we really have to keep that in mind, that families have different situations and maybe certain times. I know a lot of families that are part of my family. The parents are working at home and they're on the devices, and then the kids need devices as well. So that 2 hours is pretty good amount.
Is ample for your things that you're expecting. So we have kind of a spectrum here too of parents, because we have parents who are saying 2 hours, that's a lot of time after I get home from work and getting this figured out. 2 hours is a lot. Then we also have parents who are saying 2 hours, they're usually at school for 6 hours. What am I going to do with them for the rest of the day and do something productive? So we have those parents who are asking for optional things. So our advice at this point is give the 90 minutes of 2 hours or to 2 hours of required stuff, and then give some options, give some optional work that kids can do. Those things we were just looking at on the last one, the virtual field trips they can check out, there's all kinds of things that they can do. Okay.
And keeping that in mind too, those things that we're requiring is keep it essential skills, right? And then maybe throw in some fun, fluffy stuff that they can do, activities as a family. And you know, our amazing superintendent has said, you know, let's make this some family activities, involve the whole family. So keep that in mind as well.
There's discussions and activities the whole family can do that, so that's even better. One other thing I'm going to flip back here just for a second, so we can hit on are these reasonable physical resources. Remember, we've got kids at home who might not have access to things that used to be reasonable, right? So, and we don't want to encourage anyone to be going to, you know, the grocery store or any place like that to get supplies.
Well, and a biggie, what we're hearing from parents is printing. They don't have printers in their homes. They can't be expected to print things. And ink is expensive, even if they could print, you know, so keep that in mind. We really do not want to have any printing that's being done in the homes. So it should be something that they can access and respond digitally to you in. So
I had a great email the other day from a teacher that said, well, all of the examples you guys put out there had packets you could print. That was for a different purpose, right? Was kind of to get us up and going. Schools were doing the printing and getting those to parents while we got all of the digital stuff figured out. So the purpose, and I apologize if that's what that came across like, is we were encouraging lots of printing. Let's not ask parents to do printing at this point, if at all possible. We have some strategies too here. We'll show you through that might help limit that.
Okay, this first one, you're going to want to check this out, because I've had so many people reach out to me, and thanks to Wendy Stoker for giving us this great tutorial here. If you're assigning some things in Journeys, a story you want them to read, and then you're going to ask some essential questions that are related to that. And there is a little tutorial here, and the video, I've created a video down at the bottom that shows you how to do it, where you can just add a little link into your assignment. They click on it and it goes right to that page in Journeys, so they don't even have to log in. So that is, you'll want to check that out for sure.
Same thing with the problem sets. You can link right to the problem sets on engagenewyork.org. You can find it there, but sometimes even not the problems that you can link to the lesson, but giving parents the whole 12-page lesson. Some parents like it because they can read through and see all the examples. Most parents just want to get to the problem set. So you can take that PDF off of Engage New York, and then you can pare it down to just the 2 or 3 page problem set that's available there. I've created a tutorial. If you just click on this link right here, there's a tutorial of how to do that. It's not hard. It's just 3 or 4 steps. And again, we're always open to answer those type of tech questions if you need us to, for sure. Another great tool that can help us not ask parents to do any printing and can simplify your life is this Chrome extension called Kami. It's Kami. And I created a tutorial for this one as well. But what Kami does is you download it as a teacher. Your students have also got to download it. It's approved by the district. It's great on a Chromebook, so there's no problem with them doing it, and downloading only takes a couple steps. There's a link to that here too. But what it does is takes a PDF and it turns it into a fillable document. So any PDF you send them, like a problem set, you can make places and they just go ahead and type right on that PDF, and then they can send that CAMI assignment to you right through Google Classroom. So there we've solved the problem of having to print it out, take a picture of it, upload it. You can just do it right with CAMI. So if you're looking for something like that, that's a great, fantastic tool.
Same with journeys. If you're wanting to use some of those worksheets, keep in mind we don't want them printed. So maybe use CAMI or a slide that they can that you've got it that they can fill in. So keep going.
Sorry, I just flipped that over. I was making sure that we were actually getting the right window. Sorry, quick technical check there. Okay. Let's go ahead and should we look at the next question?
Yeah, I would just recommend going through these documents. We're going to bring up a couple of them, but in your spare time, go ahead and look at some of these things in these documents.
Okay. Great, there we go. All right, let's look back at our questions. Okay, so question 3. Have I utilized Google tools? Actually, can we skip down to question 4?
Yes.
I think we were talking through these and I think it makes more sense to go to question 4. Okay, are my instructions easy to follow and my resources organized for both students and parents and guardians? Again, we have parents on a spectrum of those who are used to using technology, those who use it in their own lives but are kind of getting used to this teaching and learning happening for their kids. Making things as easy to follow as possible is the best. And in this situation, the less clicks, the less places I have to visit, the better.
And quite frankly, we're all new to this. We're creating Google Classrooms. We're not sure how to set them up. And there's lots of different ways to do it. So we have reached out and looked at some teacher examples to maybe help you decide what's the best way to organize for you. So I always learn by looking at what other people are doing,
For sure. And I feel like we've had some fellows who have allowed us to look at their Google Classrooms. It's kind of like being able to pop next door and see how your teammate is teaching, right? So instead of looking in their physical classroom, we get to look in their Google Classroom. They have also wanted me to convey that this has been a process for them too. So
right. They've gotten feedback. Right?
They've gotten feedback. Yeah.
I don't know where to look,
Some of them have totally changed their organization because it wasn't easy for parents. So this is their best effort and they're thinking right now. And I appreciate them sharing because that can be an overwhelming thing. So thanks to those teachers who've allowed us to share here. All right, I'm going to actually go ahead and pull up. I was just looking through our list here, Christy, really quick. We have teachers who are still emailing out assignments every day. Is that acceptable? Yes, it's acceptable. Is it best practice? It's probably more work for you than I can even imagine.
Well, at this point, initially we thought, 2 weeks.
Yep.
So let's, email out some assignments and whatnot. But now, this may go to the end of the year. That's kind of the talk that's out there. So we want to get this set up so it's organized and easy on you and parents.
Yeah. So if you haven't made the leap to Google Classroom, we're challenging you to do that. We're not saying you have to do that, but we are challenging you because it will make your life so much easier.
And there's so many people out there who can help you and walk you through this probably on your team or in your building, your ed tech, or hey, Jen and I, we're happy to help. It's really not as difficult as it seems. And like Jen said, it's going to make your life so much easier and the students and parents as well. So
yes. Okay. We're going to hop into a 6th grade classroom here. If you want to see this classroom as a teacher, all of the login information is right here on these resource sheets that we've set. This one's in the instructions and organization. So we're going to hop in that Classroom really quick. Let's see here. That's the 4th grade one. Actually, I'm going to go back to 1st grade. Let's start with 1st grade. So this is Tammy Jones' 1st grade classroom. She has actually made the commitment to keep this up and going. So if you're a 1st grade teacher, I would hop in here and just see what she's doing. It might give you some ideas during the upcoming weeks of what you could do. But there's a couple of great things in here. Let's look at her organization. She says these are teacher tools. So these are things that she uses. So these aren't usually in her student view one. She's just put these here for you. So when students log in, this is what they see. Of course, we want to go to that classwork tab. That's the first thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it initially opens, it's under the stream. Yeah. And that's important for you to communicate to parents and for you to know yourself. But the classwork tab's where they're going to find their assignments.
Yeah, and the stream just tells you what's happened in the classroom. The classwork tab is where it lets you organize everything under topic. So she's taken topics. Her first topic is this learning at home, and she's organized by week. So this is a 1st grade classroom. And then for each day of the week, you can see she's got where I click here, and then she's got the previous. So here underneath, I'll just show you really quick her previous weeks, and she's got the days numbered. She chose to call, number from the day that we started this, and then she's got the date. So she's got one topic for the week and one assignment is what Google Classroom calls these for each day. Now within each day, there's more than what we would think of as an assignment, but that's what Google Classroom calls it. So the kids click on this, and then inside is everything that they need for that particular day. So I'm going to actually go down to day 9 because this is the day that I've looked through quite a bit. So under day 9, she has the reminder of don't forget to check in. So kids go ahead and they check in, and I'll actually show you that on a different classroom, another spin that a teacher's done. But then she has one Google slide deck posted for the whole day. So this Google slide deck is everything that all of the kids need. I like to think of this as a landing spot. You need to create a landing spot that anchors kids back to what they're doing. So 1st grade, she's chosen to do it in a Google slide deck. So kids know I just go straight through this every day. So she's got where the kids check in. She has them do a little typing here. So this is making a copy for every student in her classroom. That's a setting in Google Classroom. So she just has the kids type right here. This is fillable. They just type right in there. How easy is that? I don't have to open another doc. I don't have to go to another place. I just type right there. Awesome. Then she has a little story time that she has done with the 3 little pigs. This is her reading.
I think it was day 10. Maybe.
Was it day 10? Well, I just looked through these. The idea is the same. So she's got, I'll just click through these really quick so we can look some more at it.
But look, compare, contrast. That's right. An essential skill. Yay.
Essential skill. So she did the story up here, right? And then the teaching part is right here, something from both stories, something that's different about this. She talks about this idea, this compare and contrast idea in her video up here. So in addition to reading the story to them, she talks about, she teaches them. Let's open this one really quick. Load for us. This is, I'll let Christy even talk about this one.
This just gave me goosebumps. So, we're not in the classroom, and you still need to teach some of these essential skills. And phonics is an essential skill in 1st grade. She's been doing Reading Horizons with the kids, and she wants to continue. So she's actually doing a teaching lesson in this short little video here that she's created. So she's able to still teach and be a teacher.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I don't know if this will play in a way that you can see it. Okay. She goes through, she explains that she's just at home. Mm-hmm. She's set up this little whiteboard behind her, and she has a device that's just videoing her. And then she's embedded that video right into her Google Slides. So again, kids aren't going somewhere different for this. This is 10 minutes too, which is a long video. That's a long video.
I think that's how much time she would spend teaching in the classroom, a phonics lesson. 10 or 15 minutes. Yep. And then give them something to practice, which she does in the very next slide, if she's given them a way to practice what they had just learned. So
yep. Again, right within the Google Slides, so they don't have to go anywhere different. Let's talk for a minute about video as a teaching tool. Let's go with the pot. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Let's even back up a little bit, Jen.
Yeah.
I don't think we've mentioned that this time. We're trying to go from assigning to teaching. Okay. During those first couple weeks when this first started, we were just giving them something to do to occupy their time. But now that we know that this is a longer period of time, we need to teach kids. We need to be giving them something that is that they're learning. They're learning those essential skills. So, and that's exactly what Tammy's done here. She's provided a teaching session.
Yeah, and just to take from this too, we're not saying that you have to do videos as a teacher. That is not a have to. Again, it's probably a challenge because seeing their teacher teaching them something like they had in the classroom, whoa, like what better way is there? And it's probably the easiest way if you just get up on some of the tech stuff to get that teaching happening. There are other ways. So is it a mandate you have to do video? Nope, not a mandate that you have to do video. Is it probably one of the best things you could do in this situation? Yeah. It's a connection with you as their teacher and a great way to do teaching. So
totally digitally. I mean, that's what we're used to doing. We're used to being in front of kids and teaching, right? It's going to be harder for me to teach by doing a slide deck, and maybe trying to explain what I would explain in person. I think that's what comes natural to us, is just to teach from our heart and what we're saying. But it can be done other ways. I mean, there's videos out there that you can learn anything you want. So there's probably ones that teach some of these phonetic skills that somebody else has created as well. So does it have to be you? And no.
No, I'm just thinking math examples. I mean, we have Dwayne Haybecker, who we love from the Embark site. He has videos of him teaching every skill. So if you wanted to even embed that, that's great. That's great. Would it be more fun maybe if the kids saw you? But if that's too big of a technical challenge, that's fine. We just need to move the teaching forward.
Great. And one great thing is our wonderful fellows, and we can't thank them enough for all the work that they've done.
They're amazing.
Is they have created those documents by learning targets, and all the resources are right there. There are songs that help teach a skill. There are video tutorials that they've already provided for you. So maybe look at some of those resources and say, okay, how can I teach this essential skill, and what is available for me from these fellows on our ELA and math sites, and then go from there.
Exactly. There's so many resources. We just need to be thinking, okay, I'm teaching, I'm not just assigning kids stuff. That's the fundamental shift. There's a million ways to get there, but we want to be teaching, right? Because that's what we're good at. That's what we love.
And that's what we miss. We miss the kids and we miss teaching. So if you need some help and support on what that might look like, we're here to help. And
absolutely.
We're going to, we'll talk about that later. Move along.
Okay. Back to Tammy's awesome resource. So slide number 4, you see her doing a picture book. This is kind of a staple for her because she talks about those essential skills as she's reading. She's not only reading the book, right? She's talking about those. She's teaching those skills. She's also then on the next slide got this cute picture that a student in her class sent to her. But what I love is that she takes that picture and then she has the problem of the day the kids are working on is that student. So not only is she doing awesome curriculum, essential skills, now she's got this awesome tie to her students, right? Which is what we are missing so much from the classroom. So I'm sure that student opened that and was just thrilled to see himself and the problem of the day about him. So again, students just click right in the slide to answer the question. They don't have to go anywhere, print anything, download anything. It's just right there. She has a mystery activity, and then her last 2 slides of the day are always those base programs we were talking about, those primary resources. So this particular day, she's got Reading Horizons and Imagine Math. So and
on the other day, she has Imagine Learning and Zerd.
Yep.
So she just kind of alternates those.
So this is day 9. She's got Imagine Learning here, and she's got Zern. One thing, it says you can access this by clicking on the icon below. All kids have to do is click here, and there is the link that takes them right to where they have to go. As a parent, wow, huge time saver. If a child can navigate this themselves and be clicking on it, and I know exactly where they're supposed to go, that's huge. So that's what this section was originally about. If we get back to these questions, was instructions are easy to follow, resources are organized. So the way that Tammy has organized is awesome. So she's done, let's just go back over it. She's done Google Classroom on the classwork tab. She has created topics. Each of those topics are a week for her first graders. And then she has created assignments. There's one assignment for each day. So when I click on the day, I have all of the resources there that I need. And then hers is in the slide deck. Wow.
Well, and for first grade, you know, that's how simple it needs to be, because it's parents guiding, you know, and students haven't been doing online. Even if you were one-to-one, you weren't doing this in your classroom with first grade. So first grade has got to be really simple, and she's just masterfully done that for parents and students.
I think as we're thinking time too, the younger the student, you have to keep the longer, I mean, and we know this from the classroom, the longer everything's going to take them, but especially in a digital environment. Because a first grader, as a parent, I'm going to probably have to sit there for most of the time and help them through things. And that's a lot of time when I get multiplying multiple kids together. That gets to be a lot. Older kids can be a little more self-sufficient as long as their resources are organized and easy to find and your links are working, right? Let's see. Should we take a look at the 4th grade classroom?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Monica Whittison's classroom. She is a dual immersion teacher, 4th grade. So you have to think Monica is doing a whole day's teaching now and an hour online, right? Way to go. Way to go, Monica. That is pretty incredible. She has her resources organized in a little bit of a different way. But what I want to start with is what she has put here at the top. And this stays at the top of her classroom. It's her daily check-in. And we've seen lots of different versions of this. And I don't know who to credit with starting this, but it's a great idea I've seen in lots of classrooms. When you click on the check-in, the kids click here every single day. And their names are over here on the left-hand side. And then we have the dates of going across over here. I know most teachers are updating it by the week, so you can just see a week at a time. But all the kids come and do is they click at the check mark next to their name to show that they have been on that day. If kids are on, usually you'll see assignments from them, or you can check in Imagine Math or Imagine Reading to see if they've been on. But this is a really quick way for you just to gather data about who's been active and who hasn't been active in your classroom.
Yeah, and we had a question, what do you do for those kids who aren't participating? And there are kids, you can see, that have not checked in. So that's when you would want to reach out to those individual families or students and find out what's going on. Do they not have devices? Do they not have internet? Are they not getting your information? And how can you support them during this time? So this is a great way to find out who needs some extra support in that regards.
Yeah, and just personally, Chrissy, I had a child of mine who we thought the teacher just wasn't posting anything or just hadn't put anything on there. And we went for 2 weeks and then found out that they had switched to a different Google Classroom they'd been using in the classroom. And we just hadn't gotten the message. It had gone to my spam email, and my elementary student we were checking her email regularly at that point. Yeah. And so we just didn't know. So a lot of times kids don't know. Hopefully at this point we're getting those kids. But we've heard of teachers doing lots of really creative things. I mean, dropping a postcard off at their house physically and just leaving it on the doorstep of, hey, I'm trying to reach you, contact me, here's our class information. We know that having devices and internet is a barrier for some kids. Your principals have access to policies, direction, and resources on that. So get with them. If they've got questions, please reach out to our tech department. We're working with them too to make sure kids at least have a device in their home that they can be accessing. Another great idea this weekend, Christy, a teacher friend of mine. Aren't we jealous of these teachers sometimes? I know, we just get to sit and watch and learn about these amazing things that are happening, and I'm a little bit jealous all the time. But there were a couple of students in her classroom that she hadn't been able to get in touch with, and she'd been physically by their house a couple of times and just hadn't figured out why they weren't participating. She challenged a couple of students in her class to connect with that student over social media and make sure that student had the information. And I thought, that's a great idea. Elementary students, there's parents of kids in your classroom that you are more connected with than other parents. Tell them you're trying to get in touch with so-and-so. I thought that's how she finally got a couple more kids to be participating, is their peers put a little bit of pressure on them.
Right. And and reaching out to them in ways that, you might not have been able to. But the thing is, these kids need some support in some way. We don't know what that is. And so reach out and find out what it is and work with your administrator so that we can provide this learning time for them. They need it. Yeah, we all need it.
I used a word I probably shouldn't have. It was pressure. The two students in her class, it was just because they didn't feel a need to be participating. So for sure, we're not putting pressure on kids. We're finding out. We're finding out what families need, because if they're not participating, like you said so beautifully, it's because they had a need.
Yeah, they have a need, and maybe they need to look in their child's email.
Right. I know. Leave it to me to make a mistake, and I will do it for sure.
No, I love it. I love Jen's perspective as a parent. That's been so helpful through this, is because she's seeing 5 different students, 5 different teachers, and so she's seeing what's working and what we can do to support as well. So that's been so helpful.
It's been an adventure for sure. We've made every mistake there is to make. There's one more classroom that I want to show you, and it's Stephanie Smith's. She is a 6th grade teacher. I know, I closed my tab, so give me just a second. We don't have it linked there to show you how I want to look at it. So I'm going to have to just get close to the camera. I'm sorry, Christy, if you have something awesome to talk about.
No, I think Jen and I have just been having a fun time learning from you as well, and all the cool stuff you're doing. So we appreciate these teachers being willing to share their classrooms. So
I know, this really is being so vulnerable to open up exactly what you're doing with all of its flaws, because none of us are.
I saw funny, and I shared it with Jen on Facebook or Instagram that after we're all done with this, we'll all be able to add digital teaching on our resumes, right? Yeah. So I thought, okay, cool. We're all now have that to add to our resumes.
We as educators have learned a lot over the last couple of weeks, probably as much as our students, I think, trying to get this all to work. So, do you know what? I didn't show you Monica's class and how she has it organized. I showed you the daily check-in. So, she has resources that come next. So these are just resources. So this is 4th grade that kids are going to always need to be clicking on. So they're going to,
4th graders can do that.
Yeah, 4th graders can say, oh yeah, the Zern link is back here, or Journeys is back here. So those are the resources for her 4th graders. And then you can see for each day, Monica has created a topic in her classwork tab, which makes more sense. They're 4th graders, right? So she's using this more to collect some evidence of their work, and Google Classroom, whatever you put as an assignment, will give you a place to grade and give feedback. So she's needing to use that assignment for each individual assignment, and the topic is the day. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. She at the top, she just has a little announcement up here. So this isn't something the kids are assigned to do. It is just the overview for the day. So she's got the date, and then she's got the assignments, what we're going to do in math, what we're going to do in writing, what we're going to do in science or STEM. I love that she's included physical exercise for the day, right? Mm-hmm. Play outside, go for a walk. George, you can tell Monica is a mom, like me too. She's got some things in here. This was during the during the 2nd week too, this one comes from. And then she's got some links in here. So there's nothing the kids have to do here, but it gives them an overview. As a parent, again, trying to help at home, this is that landing spot that I'm trying to go through, or that I need, so I can say to my child, okay, did you do Zern? All right, did you do your math facts? Did you do your writing? This is, and the kids need this too, so they can mentally be checking off, okay, did I get everything done that Mrs. Widdowson is wanting me to do? So there's their checklist for the day. And then underneath, she has any resources that they're going to need. So you can see she has directly linked to the Zern. This is just in draft form on this particular one. So she's got the direct link right to the Zern lesson that they're going to be doing. And then she's got the link to the assignment for the day for ELA and the assignment to the day for math, or for science. So,
when we're talking about science, Jen, there's something that's been brought up. There's lots of ways to integrate science. It can be done with your reading. There's lots of fun science activities to add in. Something you want to keep in mind when we go back to, what was the word? We wanted to, resources, available resources during this time. So sometimes you may want to assign an experiment to do. And you may think, oh, this is something they can do in their home. It's pretty easy. We've got to remember that during this time, something you think that they might have in their home, like cotton balls or tinfoil, may not be in their home at this time because they are limiting their shopping. So one thing that one of our teachers has done is she videos her daughter and son doing the experiment, and the kids watch it. And then if they want to replicate that and have the stuff at home, they can do that. So I think for science, let's keep that in mind, that we're probably not assigning experiments for them to do at home that would in most cases be perfectly normal and okay to do, because they're things that they should or would have in their homes during a typical time, but this is not a typical time. So there are so many videos out there on YouTube, and some great ones, some great science channels that kids can watch experiments, and then if they choose to do that on their own.
Yeah. Yep. Again, I failed, so we'll just put it that way, a chemistry experiment for high school the other morning. So, which was a great idea. It was a great idea. But I think having a video of how it was supposed to work would have really helped me as a new science educator in my kitchen. So, let's go to Stephanie's class. Okay. Here's a 6th grade example. Stephanie always has the today's assignments at the top. So this is kind of nice too, because kids know I'm going to open my Google Classroom, I go to classwork, and today's stuff is just going to be right there at the top, and it's going to say today, and that's what I'm going to do. You can see she's got several more assignments. That's okay. This is 6th grade, right? They all have the date on them, so that you can see. She does something kind of cool too. She has announcements that for the day. She also does these on a weekly basis, I've seen here, but so we've got today's announcements, right? These are actually for today, and she has announced here that they're going to have a hangout tomorrow at 11 a.m. So these are just, again, 3 sentences. It's not much, it's perfect. So she does a daily check-in too of how are you doing. This is just a little poll. Look, the kids don't even have to type anything. It says, I'm great, I'm all right, I'm struggling, I'm really struggling. This has taken a toll on all of our emotional statuses at this point. I'm like going to cry right now. We're both kind of a wreck. Sorry, because we love you and because we want this to be awesome for students. So the kids just check in. That way, this awesome teacher, Stephanie, knows, like, is there a student who is struggling who doesn't have anyone to tell that they're struggling, right? And they don't have to write it out. They just have to click it. Then look, she's got her lesson plan. This again, it's organized differently than Monica's is, but it's perfect. It's great. It's her spin on it. So everything in yellow is stuff they have to do. Okay, so those are the required things. So there's exponents and order of operations lesson that they've got to do. They've got a form it looks like they're filling out for language arts. Today, they've got their 20 minutes. So she wants them to do all these. The yellow just means there's something in Google Classroom that they have to fill out today that goes with that. So there's a couple of places in Google Classroom that they have to go. She's got some science in here today. And then look, Chrissy, she's got extra activities that are optional and they're marked optional, which is awesome. These are for those kids and parents who have extra time. They want to fill their time productively. These are things that might be touching on some of those important and supporting skills even.
Oh, and look at it. She's got some PE, try yoga, and then some art.
Yeah, she's got a virtual field trip in here. So if I'm a 6th grader and I'm home alone all day because my parents are, at work and I have a device, this would be awesome for me to be doing. Instead of maybe some other digital choices that I have out there. This also frees kids from feeling overwhelmed and parents from feeling overwhelmed, like I've got to do all these things. But anyway, kind of helps. Again, we've got that spectrum of parents, kids, out there that want some of that extra. So this is the organizational place. So I would call this that landing spot again. So she's got this. Monica had her checklist that was a little bit more simplified for 4th grade. And then Tammy had just put everything in a slideshow. Yeah. So we've got 3 different versions, but there's a place where students and parents can see what all is required for the day. We do this in our classroom. I'm just thinking, right. We post our schedule up on the board so kids know what's coming. This is the same thing, right? Just digitally, so we know we can check everything off. And then underneath this little symbol is the symbol for the assignment. So kids know today I've got 4 things in Google Classroom that I've got to get turned in. I've got to get turned in. So math, she's got the Google Slides. She has kids fill. Look how fun that background is. She's got kids are going to fill in Google Slides. Check out language arts.
And they're going to read about the Titanic and fill in a form.
Yep. Oh, she had that virtual field trip tied to the Titanic too. So look, those are tying together. Yeah. But one's optional.
That extension, taking it farther.
Awesome. Stephanie, you're amazing. Okay. And then she's got, the science thing coming in here. And I know that she's spreading her science teaching out. So there's not one every day, but this is probably for the week. And then she's got that 4th quarter reading log where the kids are putting in what they're reading. So, look, she's got videos made just for you. Oh,
from me.
Okay, I won't play them on here, but I'm gonna go check that out. So, again, just connecting with your students. Oh, they need you. When we just have had a couple of experiences of teachers, doing live things with kids at my house. Not too many, but they've loved it. Their little faces just light up because they miss you. They miss you. You are an important
part. Where I get to.
Me too.
In fact, our secretary just said her daughter was so excited she got a handwritten letter from her teacher at the junior high or high school this week. Junior high, yeah. So it's just heartwarming.
Okay, you're doing amazing things, and that's our message too.
Yeah,
we're simplify.
Yeah. We're hoping what we're doing today is helping you to narrow and simplify. Yeah. Narrow these expectations and simplify, stick with the essentials, showing you some ways to do that, to organize and simplify.
Organize. Use things that are already vetted.
Yeah.
Teach, right?
Teach,
Those are our messages. Those are our objectives.
Yes.
All right.
Our objective is to take some weight off you and inspire you by some of these things that teachers are doing. So.
And show you how amazing you already are. Yeah. We could open up every Google Classroom, I'm sure, and find
you're all doing
amazingness happening.
Everybody has their strengths.
For sure.
Do you think that they're doing really well? And we're picking some of those strengths from some people and sharing them as well.
Absolutely.
We learn so much from each other.
Yes. Absolutely. That's the place to learn. I'm sure it's just each other and other teachers. Yes. All right. Should we go back to Google Tools?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Question 3. Have I utilized Google Tools and only district approved resources? So
this kind of ties in 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Or 1 and 4 together a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. The message here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this Google Tools option so you can see here. But Google does everything. Like I just looked up to 2 years ago and I'm like, how would we have done this 2 or 3 years ago? I don't know. So let me give you a couple of examples. We now have Google Meets, which we're utilizing right now, which is amazing, right? It has replaced another product that we used to use. And now now does that. And so, of course, we've switched to using Google Meets for meetings like this. Another example, there is a tool called Seesaw that is not approved in our district. It's not approved by tech. It's not approved by curriculum. It has some cool things about it. So one of the cool things in it is it gives kids a drawing space, and they can draw with these really cool drawing tools, and they can add some audio to their drawing. Well, Google Jamboard does the same thing. So it's just looking for the Google tools that do the thing you want to do, right? Figuring out what Google tool does that. And if our tech department is amazing, they're running virtual meetings now. You'll get invitations to those, but very frequently where you can just hop on for 5 minutes, ask a question, and hop off. So if you've got something you want to do and you're just not sure what tool to use, hop on there. Christy and I have also checked out thousands of things. So if you're wondering what Google tool is going to help you do something, shoot us an email really quick. We'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you.
And while we're talking about tech department, Jen, just a plug for their site that they're all of their
training.wsd.net. They keep plugging that, training.wsd.net. If you need tutorials on how to do it, to do any of this stuff, check that out for sure. A couple of great ideas in here. If you haven't used Google Forms to do an assessment, you're trying to figure out how to give an assessment digitally, turning on quiz mode in Google Forms is awesome. Mackenzie Haas has a great example here of how she does that for her daily math practice. There's all kinds of things here. Infinite cloning tools that you would use on your smartboard are available in Google Slides. So I've got a tutorial there on how to use that. There's all kinds of things. Anything else you want to highlight here?
Yeah, I think there's, once again, just look at some of these ideas, and most of them have a tutorial or an example, so that you can look at.
Perfect. Look to Google first.
All right, number 5. Do my students have support to successfully engage in the learning experience and the opportunity to extend their learning? So this whole support thing, we have some students who have been receiving support in the classroom. They've been receiving support from their EL teacher or paraprofessional, or a special education teacher, or a reading specialist, and now they are not there. So this is the directive for those support professionals, for our EL, SPED, and reading specialists, is we're asking them to reach out to individuals and support them in the way that they need. With this in mind, you, as a teacher, you need to understand that some of these assignments may need some scaffolding or may need some support for these students, just like they would in your normal classroom. And if you're just assigning these out without that support or reaching out or making adaptations, that could be a little wearing or confusing or hard on students and parents if they're not able to do the work. So if we click on that support link there, the first thing I would say is work in tandem with those, for those students, with your reading specialist, with your special education or the EL teacher. And if they're not turning in assignments, find out, is it because they don't have access? Is it because they these assignments are too hard for them? And work alongside with those support teachers. Along with that, we have created, with the support from our reading specialist and reading team, that parent home reading support activities. So those are based off of reading skills, and it's all the reading foundational skills. It starts with letter naming and then letter sounds and goes into blending and all of those skills. But there are resources and videos and activities that parents can do at home to help support those skills that those students need. So go ahead and click on some of these. If you have students who have not mastered their phoneme segmentation, you may want to send some of these resources to that individual student. So just a lot of resources here that are available for you.
These are awesome. Christy put so much time into these, and I actually went through them this weekend with my preschool student, soon to be kindergarten student, and we were pulling things out of here. They're amazing. So, and you can just assign them. They're just right there for you. So thanks, Christy. These are so cool.
Okay, and there's also UAN has a parent resource page that has some great things for parents to support them as they're becoming the classroom teacher. And then we have these extensions. As we said, those optional things for students to do. There's some really fun ones in here. And one, I think it was back on something else, but I think it's Jake. It's not an extension, but he has one day during the week that he assigns a digital free day where they're not going to be on a device that day. And he's given some great ideas. One of his students, I know because they're in my near my neighborhood, but their family decided to paint rocks with smiley faces and inspiring messages, and then they went and put them on the trails up behind my house. So all the people in my neighborhood who are walking are posting on social media these cute rocks they're seeing. So just encouraging families to do something that's not digital. So
yeah, what a great idea to have a break from some of these awesome primary resources that we have, right?
Right.
Assigning them to just do something not digital.
And I really love Jen Perry's the cooking show. So those students who are DLI, their assignments are to use the language and show how to make a quesadilla by using your Spanish. It was really cute.
Again, these are extension type things. So these would go in the optional section for the day, but this is limitless. The things that are out there, I think this can also feel overwhelming. So if you're already feeling overwhelmed from social media and all these ideas, don't check this part out. But there's people doing PE classes for kids out there. This PE with Joe is pretty cool. That does something new every day. You knew someone embarked that was doing the Lego challenge, right?
Yes.
So 30-day Lego challenge for kids. This schedule of live activities, it's, I did not update that, and I was going to. I will update that. It's kind of like a TV program. Should we make a note about that one? I meant to do that the other day. And it goes through every day of the week and every hour of the day and shows you live what's happening on different social media outlets. It's pretty cool. So one of our favorites has been the Hogle Zoo. I know that the Cincinnati Zoo is doing this too, but the Hogle Zoo is going live every day. So now I get a pop-up from Instagram that tells me when they're live, and we check out all the different animals. It's pretty cool. But these are things from all over the country, all over the world that are happening, things that are live. So you could literally jump from live activity to live activity all day if you wanted to. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And Jen, I think you had it in there. I just didn't see it. There's an art lesson, the daily art lesson, or is it weekly? Weekly art lesson.
There are daily ones. Mo Williams is doing a daily one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. We need to put that in there.
Yeah, it's not in this spot, but we need to put it in this spot as well. There's also a lady on Instagram that's doing another artist, so we need to put those on here for sure. So all kinds of super cool things. I thought this bucket list idea, we've seen several teachers doing that too. It's just a list of optional stuff when you get time any day, and you can just check things off your third grade bucket list or whatever you want to call it. Super cute ideas. Okay, back to our questions. Okay.
Okay, number 6, do my lessons include a variety of ways for students to demonstrate progress and growth? So how are we assessing students and seeing how they're doing? We've mentioned that we really want to focus on those essential learning targets, and how are we finding out how they're doing on those essential learning targets? So a lot of our programs for Imagine Learning and Zern and all of those collect data. So we can be looking at the data there, but what are some other things that you're having them do that would show you if they're still struggling, if there's some reteaching or some more time we need to spend on that particular skill with the class as a whole or individual students, and what does that look like? So here are some ideas that we've come up with, and you probably have some ideas of your own. But they're worth taking a look at. For ELA, it's a little tricky sometimes to be able to assess some of those essential skills. but we've got, those quiz modes in Google Forms that they can do for their reading comprehension. We also have a writing journal. You can have them do a writing journal, have them do some type of writing, and that you can look for if they've included evidence, if they've included punctuation. There's so many things you can look at with their writing. IXL gives you some feedback as well. So,
all of those awesome elastic quizzes that our fellows did, like they're all on essential skills, and they all have reading passages for ELA and everything that's needed for math. So those Mackenzie's made a how to create your own on Edulastic, because you could use that too if your students are used to hopping on to Edulastic. A list of formative assessment tools, and again, I probably need to add these in here. So we know that Kahoot and Quizlet are not approved within our district right now, and this is not because we're mean. this is because they will not sign our data protection agreement, because they sell student data, and they've just come right out and tell us that's how they survive as a company. They sell that data, so we can't endorse using Kahoot or Quizlet, so stay away from those. But we have several that do work. So we've got GimKit. It's kind of a newer and lesser known one, but I know that Carol Liptrot, 5th grade teacher, has used it several times and loves it. I also know that several of the 1st grade fellows have used it, so it's good for all different ages, and it works kind of like Kahoot. It has a game feel to it like that. There's also one called Flippity, which is kind of fun to use. So those are great ones as kind of options to those others that we've noticed. I seem to be getting lots of emails from these types of companies, but it is, you guys, it's because they collect and sell that student data. So just be super, super careful there. I think in the same vein, we want to talk about feedback, right, versus grading.
That's our next slide, I believe. So, or our next question. So I think we're ready to move on to that one. Do I have a reliable way to provide intentional feedback and regular check-ins for my students and families that both builds relationships and moves learning forward? So, so really here we're wanting to discuss the whole grading and feedback. Here feedback is going to be the most critical thing for students versus a grade. We know feedback is more telling for students anyways, so it just makes sense. So what type of feedback are you giving to students? So if you're looking at the data on their Imagine Learning or Imagine Math or any of these programs that provide data, are you giving feedback to students? I mean, even the feedback of, hey, I saw you got on and you did your 40 minutes this week, great. But then feedback of, okay, I've seen you've passed off this many lessons and this is what you're working on.
Yeah, well, I think our superintendent has made that really clear, especially for elementary teachers, as our focus needs to be on giving kids feedback on essential skills and feedback that creates relationships, and spend our time doing that and not thinking so much about how am I going to grade this. You probably noticed that at the end of 3rd quarter, you didn't get a pop-up telling you what essential skills you hadn't graded yet. That was purposeful. We were in kind of a tumultuous time right then during that week. That is not going to be an expectation for the end of the year either, is that we hit all of them. We want to keep hitting as many as we possibly can, but take that pressure off of yourself of grading. The more you connect with feedback with kids and communicate with them, that's what the focus is.
Okay, so there's lots of ways you can do that, and with the checking in, and I think we've talked about that a little bit too, is if you're not seeing any activity from students, then that's really critical that we're checking in and finding out why and how we can support them. But there's a lot of fun ideas here on how to give feedback. I talked about the data from some of those programs that we're using, but we have the Google Hangout chat. Jen, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and we haven't talked too much. We're doing a Google Hangout Meet right now. So this is live, so we'll call it synchronous, right? For those who are here right now, which is us. But it can also be asynchronous. So we're recording this meet, right? And we're going to post it for those who aren't with us right at this moment. So doing that type of thing for your classroom would be awesome. Holding a Google Meet would be amazing for kids who can make it digitally at that time, but then also sending the recording out, right, for those who can't be on at a certain time.
Right, because like we said, devices, access to devices. So if you're doing something at 10 o'clock and there's 2 or 3 students in the home, they cannot all be on the same device at 10 o'clock. Right. So being able to, or they're babysitting their siblings and they can't do it right then. So making those recordable and sending them out later is really critical, because not everybody can join at that particular time. But it is great to have that live communication as well. So Meet is just a great tool to be able to do both at the same time.
And as far as learning technical things, if that sounds overwhelming to you, a Meet is like 4 steps to set up. So your ed tech coach would love to help you learn how to do that. I would love to help you learn how to do that.
There's videos out there. I've been helping families in my neighborhood know how to do it. So there you can reach out to one of us or Google.
Yeah. Another spin on that. So we're on a Google Hangout Meet. Another tool is Google Hangouts Chat. And it works just kind of like Jabber does within our district. It's a way to text back and forth. The awesome thing is you can use it to chat back and forth with students and families, and it's all monitored. So you don't have to worry about, directly texting a student or a parent. If you just chat with them, it is really.
And that's why the district has done that, is they want to protect you, right? And so they have this tool.
And it's awesome. It's live and right there. So Jed Reese, a 6th grade teacher, one of our fellows, said that he just leaves his chat open all day. So he's got a link to his chat in his Google Classroom, and then anytime kids have a question, they can click on the chat, and he actually has the app on his phone. You wouldn't have to go that far, but that way kids have instant access to him. So 6th grade, a lot of times in math, they're gonna get stuck and they're gonna need him right then. And so he's able to get back with them. The video is not a part of chat, so they can't see that he's, mountain biking at 6 o'clock and stops to answer their question or whatever he's doing. But they have that option to chat. So
text message.
It's just think of it as a text messaging system, right? That's safe for you to use with students and families.
And just, the whole feedback is, we want to give them feedback because we're asking them to do these assignments, and then if there's never any feedback given, what's the point, right? So we want to give them some feedback on what you're asking them to do, for sure.
We've had lots of questions about packets. Can I not just send home print packets to these to families? Some parents, again, we've got lots of different things going on out there, have said to send a packet, and it's easier. Do you want to talk about?
So with a packet, we're giving them assignments, right? That's pretty much it. Assignments. There's really not anything set up for feedback that I'm aware of in those situations. But we really realize that there are some families who, at this point, that's all you've been able to do. And we're just really encouraging you to work with your administrator. If this is the only option for a family, see what you can do to open the doors to provide some teaching through providing them access to some devices. So we're really encouraging you to move beyond that type of assigning right now and seeing what you can do to provide some digital help.
I think, Christy, they always want to know what's official. Christy and I can find official.
We're not official.
We just feel like people who can find really good teachers and resources. But so can you do packets? Yes. Is it preferred right now? No. let's take this time, as professionals too, to get this figured out digitally. We can do this. It's so much more powerful if we can be giving kids feedback, instead of having them, work on packets that we don't safely. Hopefully, we're not having them turn those in. So
right. Yeah. So if you have questions or concerns, reach out to your administrator or to us. Jen and I have said, we'll volunteer, we'll go to the houses, we'll get them set up, we'll get them some devices,
Right.
we'll figure out how to get them access to the internet. There are options for free internet out there. Just so you know, if that seems to be kind of one of the holdups, there are many options out there, and we would be happy, and our tech team would be happy to help get them some access.
Yeah, for sure. Your principal has all of those details. So, okay. I think that brings us to the end of our questions.
Right, but we have some exciting news.
We have some exciting news. Allow me here. What's the news?
Because we love you and we love being with you and we learn from you, we're kind of taking a step back. We feel like we've given you a lot of resources, and they're yours to use how you'd like and in your own professional way. But we still want to be available if you have questions. So what we're going to do is every Wednesday at noon, we are going to do an online meet, live meet. I don't think these will be recorded and sent out at this point. That's not our intent. It's just to answer any questions and to help you in any way that you might need some help. So every Wednesday at noon till 1 o'clock. And if you have questions ahead of time and you want to email them to us or send them to us, we'll be happy to address them, or just tell us when you log in, something that you're struggling with, or even if you have something amazing you want to share, we would love that too.
Yes, absolutely. And we will have, I think, some frequently asked questions. We get emails and themes. It's pretty nice.
Right.
It seems like everyone's developing at a similar speed with this. So
3 or 4 of the same emails that will go, oh, okay, this is something we can share.
So we will have some resources, but the main purpose is for you to ask questions and get clarification on anything that you feel like you need it on. But that will be exciting. Yeah. So Wednesday at noon. We'll be on. You can hop on for 5 minutes. You can hop on and just lurking is such a weird term. Not lurk. That's what some of people say. You're not lurk, just listening in. Anyway, any way that you want to participate would be great. So just think a big thank you. We hope that you feel from us total support, that there are not expectations to do anything crazy at this point. There's an expectation for us to be teaching online and learning and improving our craft just like we would in a classroom. But most of all, you're doing amazing stuff, and we just want to thank you.
Yeah, I am inspired daily by what you're doing for kids and families, and all the hard work you're putting in to learn this new way of teaching, and just thank you.
Thank you. If you take anything from this, take the fact that you're amazing, and just put that on repeat because you're amazing. We're so grateful our students have you. So, all right. Thanks for tuning in today. Yep. See you Wednesday.